Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa with Marco and welcome to our 5-minute technique series. Now, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing for more weekly videos like this. And if you're new to clicker training and positive reinforcement, make sure that you check out the links in the YouTube description below before you watch this video. Now, this video is all about training our dogs how to respond to their name and ultimately coming to us when we call them by their name. The first step is to train our dog to recognise their name first. And I'm going to ask Marco to train with me. Marco, would you like to train with me? Beautiful. So Marco's taken that very readily. So Marco, I'm just saying his name and offering him a reward. Marco. Marco. And Marco's readily anticipating when the next reward's coming. Now, Marco recognises his name very readily. Marco. So that's an exercise that he's done before. But I'm now going to give him the finish cue. Thank you, Marco. Now, Marco was looking at me very readily, anticipating when the next treat was going to come. So that is our cue to move along to the second step, which is asking our dogs to respond to their name. And that's when we introduce our clicker using positive reinforcement. Now, Marco, I'm going to ask you if you'd like to train with me again so we can do the next step. Marco, would you like to train? Good. Marco's taken that treat readily, so we're going to go ahead. Marco. So he didn't look at me, but he was focused in my direction. Marco. And he just looked up at me then, so I used my clicker and bridged that behaviour and rewarded him. Marco. And he's looking at me, but he just looked towards the clicker as I pressed the button there. Marco. He just looked up at me again, so I'm going to bridge that behaviour and I'm going to reward him. Thank you, Marco. Now I'm just giving him his finish cue again. Thank you, Marco. That's all there is. Now you see, that was very easy, but we were creating very powerful positive associations for Marco with his name. Every time he heard his name, he realised that good things were going to happen. Now, teaching the name response when we have our dog on leash is also a really, really important exercise, because what we're doing is we're maintaining our dog's focus when they're on the leash. Now, being on the leash is very exciting for any dog, so we really have to make sure we're in a very quiet environment and that we're working in very small steps and we take into account our dog's excitement levels, and then we just give them time to calm down. So what I'm doing, I'm now just going to offer Marco a start cue. Yeah, he really likes these treats. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reward him just for staying there being nice and calm. This is a good way to just help reduce the arousal levels, the excitement levels, because Marco thinks that he's going for a walk. Okay, so I'm trying to make this as real world as possible. And this is a really good way to do this, is to show you how I'm dealing with this situation of trying to maintain Marco's enthusiasm and his arousal levels at a manageable level, because he thinks he's going for a walk, but we're not, we're just doing this exercise here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Marco. So I'm now using the name response exercise, Marco. 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 So you see how, just going to give Marco his finish cue now. That's it, Marco, good boy. I'm going to just offer Marco a start cue. And I'm going to reposition myself. Marco, start cue, beautiful. And I'm going to do the name response exercise. Marco. Marco. Just waited for him to look away. Marco. He was looking at the clicker then. Marco. And just rewarding him. And we're going to give a finish cue. Thank you, Marco. So that's a really easy exercise to practice when you have your dog on leash. Make sure you're starting in a quiet environment again, and then you can maybe move out to a place that has some minimal distractions, like the noise from the surrounding yards or wildlife, say in the backyard. You can move to different parts of the house Then you can maybe move to the front door and then practice in the front yard, and then practice eventually when you're out on your walks. And it might take you just a few sessions to have your dog understanding and recognising their name and then responding to their name, but then you can apply it in different situations.